It was early Sunday evening when the usual peace and tranquility of Honeycamp Road was shattered by the skidding of a swerving car. An eyewitness told CTV3 what she saw as the car lurched down the road.
The taximan came out of the car and he went at the back of the car, and then he took out the bike and he flinged the bike, so the bike almost touched the fence. And then we saw the young guy, because it's a young man. He came out and he took the bike, and we shouted at him because we wanted them to know that we were seeing it. And he went in the bike and he took the bike and he went. And then afterwards the taximan went back in the car and he spun back and he drove. But then they came back and they told us that so that we can go and see, because the taximan was over there dead. But then I said, how will he be there if the guy just went that side? So we went to see, and we saw the man in the car bleeding out. That was when we called the police. At first we thought that the guy didn't have money to pay the taximan, and the taximan was angry and threw away his bike. But we didn't knew that he already stabbed him. So like everything that we see now looks like the guy already stabbed him, and maybe he was fighting, because I hear that he was at the back seat. So maybe he was fighting because the guy had stabs to his right side. So I guess that maybe he was at the back seat stabbing the man, and maybe they were fighting for the wheel, because he went all along in the yard. He was swerving, the car was swerving. So maybe that was what happened. When I went right in front of the guy, and the car was still on, and it was on drive, and we didn't want to touch him, but he was still breathing. He had a stab wound to his chin, but I didn't notice that he was stabbed all in his chest, or else we would try to help him, but we didn't want to touch the body.
Alpuche succumbed to his injuries, and while the killing of an on-duty taxi driver is always shocking, for his family it is incomprehensible. An unsuspecting and defenseless working man sliced up by a rogue passenger. Alpuche's sister says his murder seems to have taken place in the blink of an eye.
He just left his common law wife. He left his common law wife at 5:20. That is what we are trying to piece together, because he was at 5:20. He left her house, and all of a sudden the police told me that at 5:52 they received a call that they have already killed him. He is very, very, very loving person, because once we had a little misunderstanding, but when he came to me, he said, "Sister, let's forget about it," and he hugged me and he asked me for pardon. That was what he was always looking for his. He was a taxi man. He always finding job to make ends meet, you know. This was not the way he should have ended. He had 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Yes, he had 4 grandchildren, which we love very much. And he was there with them that while when he went 2 o'clock with them, and then afterwards he went at 5:20. He left their home just to be killed. And I think it's because of this mask that, as a lot of taxi men are saying, we have to use mask, and we don't know sometimes who is the person that is under that mask.
A sinister outcome of what's supposed to be a health and safety measure. And equally frustrating for the family is the fact that, at present, authorities have no leads.
Police are conducting an investigation into this matter at this time. We also know that he does his taxi runs from the Queen Victoria Avenue area, somewhere in the vicinity of the town hall. So we are on the ground at this time since the incident, still on the ground, trying to continue with the investigation. At this time, we do not have any suspect in our custody, and we do not have a motive as yet.
Cherise Halsall, 7 News.